In this video, what I want to do is answer a bunch of questions that came in over the last month. So I have 5 or 6 different questions that I want to answer for you, and we'll just look at some different elements here inside Camtasia. Here's a list of the topics we're going to cover. If you want, you can scroll ahead to find that place in the video, or you can just watch this whole thing through. We're going to start with outside only glow as opposed to inside and outside, caption differences between Mac and PC, end of clip shortcuts. So how do I get to the end of a clip? Shortcuts with arrows. If you couldn't use an arrow, I'll show you how to use arrows in your shortcuts. Recorder on the screen. I have an idea for helping there. And quick doodle drawings. There's a specific YouTube channel, and I want to show how this person does drawings on their channel. Here's our first question: how to make the shape glow from the outside only? Because whenever I use a glow on a rectangle, it glows from both inside its borders as well as outside. Is there a workaround? I'll subscribe if you answer. Well, I certainly appreciate that you'll subscribe if you answer. Of course, I would love it if all of you subscribe. That certainly helps the channel, and give it a like. That helps as well. So here we are inside Camtasia. If we go over to our annotations, we can find that there are annotations that have an outside border only. So if I grab this and drag this over here, for example, you can see it's just a border and I can see through it. And specifically, I'll go ahead and just delete that real quick. I already grabbed one and put it right here over top of this icon. Now, the issue comes in when we add the glow effect. So if I go over to my visual effects and I choose the glow effect and just drag it to that thing, we see a glow inside and outside. And the person says, I just want the glow outside. So the way I would do this is I would grab another annotation and I would fill in that space. So what I did was I grabbed a shape, and here I put this red rectangle over top. So you can see it's just a regular red rectangle. So I went over to width and height here in the properties panel to get it exactly the dimensions I wanted. And then what we can do is, if you're in Camtasia 2020, you can right click the eye icon and choose alpha invert, and then it lets everything through except what's behind it. I'm going to go ahead and Control Z to undo that. The other thing we can do here in Camtasia 2021 is we can go over to our visual effects, grab this media matte, drag media matte to it, and then just change it here under the properties panel. So we'll go to alpha invert, and now I see that's an inside glow only. So if you want to see it without that, I'll just delete that element, and you can see it glows inside and out. And then if I Control Z to bring that back, that way we don't have any glow inside. We're basically saying don't put the glow inside, instead just put it outside. The next question is, most captions facilities only work in Windows, not OS X, no text in the caption bar, no text in the caption track, and no caption panel next to the canvas. Do you know when, if ever, this will be fixed? Okay, first of all, I don't work for TechSmith, so I don't know when this will happen. I don't have any insight as to when these things will change. Secondly, the fix implies that there's something wrong, and I don't know that there's necessarily anything wrong. So specifically, let's look at how captions are handled in Windows and in Mac, and you'll see that there are some differences. You may prefer one over the other. So let's look. So we'll start here in Windows. So the way we did captions here in Windows is we have a captions tool. So you can go to captions and you can add a caption. So here, put a caption next to a caption that already existed. But if I was here in another place or somewhere else, I could just say add a caption, and it adds a track, this extra clip that is a caption, and I can put that anywhere I want. If I have this caption selected, I can go in and type, this is the first caption. If I'm outside of the caption tool, you can see that that goes away. I can't really edit that. If I'm here and I try to double click, it'll have to take me over to the caption tool in order for me to make edits in this tool. You'll also notice here that there is a preview. If I zoom in, you can see that the caption area shows a preview of that text. So let's jump over to our Mac, and here we can see that there isn't a captions option at the bottom, right? There is no captions tool. And what we would want to do here instead is we would want to go to audio effects. There's this captions tool, then we can just drag to anywhere we have audio. So you can see here that it highlights in blue where I can drag it. Now, why can't I drag it down here? Well, I put captions in this track already. So let's show you. I'll go over here and just drop captions on this clip, and you can see that the captions then are tied to that clip. So when I move these captions around, the captions move along. Now, it doesn't show you the preview of what that caption is, so I don't know what the caption is here. If I put my mouse over though, I can see it says, oh, okay, there's the caption. I can see it in the canvas. Then to edit this, I can click on the caption bar here up top. And with that, then I can make my edits. Now, one other thing, if we didn't want to see the caption bar, or if we didn't want to see the captions here in the preview, we can edit either of those in the view menu. You can just say, oh, turn off those captions in the preview. So now I don't see it in either of these. All right. The other thing we can do is if that captions bar is taking up a little bit of extra space and you need that space, you can just not show the captions track and it goes back. Of course, if we want those back, we can just go back to view and say show the caption track when we need to make our edits, and then show the caption in the preview so we can see it there on the canvas. This next question says, when you double click a piece of video, it goes to the beginning. With what shortcut do I go to the end of a piece of video? All right, well, let's go back to Camtasia and take a look at this. So if I'm here and I scroll down and I look at this clip and I double click this clip, I can see that the playhead moves to the beginning of that clip. And the question is, well, what do I do when I want to get to the end of that clip? All right, well, what I have here are those shortcuts that we can use. So here on the PC, there is Control-Alt, comma, and Control-Alt, period. Now the Control-Alt, comma, well, let me put it here and I'll show you. So Control-Alt, if I use comma, I see the playhead moves to the beginning of that clip. Control-Alt, period, goes to the beginning of the next clip, which is the end of the previous. So when I use period again, I can see I'm going to the right. Every time it finds a new clip, it goes to that next clip. So when I use these Control-Alt and either comma or period, I will go to the left or to the right, depending on which direction I'm going. Of course, comma to the left and period to the right. What's different though is when we have these clips that are stacked, when I use Control-Alt and period to go to the right, it goes to the beginning of the next clip. So it might not take you exactly to the end, but it will take you to the beginning of the next clip. So when you have those clips right next to each other, then the beginning of the next clip is the end of the clip that you're on. On the Mac, just a little bit different. It is Command comma and Command period to go to the left and to the right. Next question. Love your video and subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate that. I wish I could use the arrow keys in our shortcuts with Camtasia. Unfortunately, we don't seem to be able to. And then there's another question after that. So let's address the arrow keys in the shortcuts. So back in Camtasia, what I want to do is go to Preferences. So we can do that with Control comma or Command comma on the Mac. So I'll just do that, Control comma, and I can see Preferences opens up. And then we'll go to Shortcuts. So here in the Shortcuts tab, we can change some things. And I think this person was probably doing something with timeline navigation. And we can see we can step forward and backward on the timeline using the comma and period keys. But this person was saying, hey, I wanted to go here, and to step forward, maybe I wanted to use the right arrow. And so when I tap the right arrow, I see that the box turns red, and it gives me a warning, and it says, that key is reserved. Then I say, I can't use it. But I can try it in combination with another keyboard shortcut. So what about Control and the right arrow? Well, Control and right works. What about Shift and right? Well, Shift and right doesn't work. That's reserved. What about Alt and right? Alt and right works. What about Alt Control right? Well, that doesn't work. That one's reserved for the operating system. So if you're trying to use a key to do your own customized shortcut and it's not letting you, consider adding another key with it. So add Shift or Control or Alt or a combination of those. You could even use your operating system key like the Windows key. Now on to the second part of the question. I also wish the Camtasia recorder would stay on the screen during your recording. So it's possible that this person wants to have the recorder on the screen and record the recorder itself. So there are a couple of ways to do this. First of all, I'm going to bring up the recorder. I can close this window and I'll just click the record button. When I do, I can see Camtasia minimizes and the recorder comes up. All right. So how do I capture this recorder? So what I can do is I can use a previous Camtasia version to show the recorder. So here I can bring up one of my recorders. I can click record to capture, and then it will capture the other recorder. So if I click record in the 2020 recorder, it'll record the 2021 recorder, or vice versa. Now there is a little bit of a problem with this, and that is the Camtasia 2021 actually does a really good job of not displaying the recorder, period. So it'll show it on your screen, but it won't capture it itself. Let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to jump back to my monitor, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to click record. Now, when I do that on my screen, I see the recorder right here, but as I'm sharing it here with you, you can't see it, right? Like I can zoom in here. Here's where the restart button is. Here's where the minimize button is. And then here's where the timer is. And you don't see any of those. Now, why is that? Well, this bar is operating outside of the operating system so that it doesn't capture the bar accidentally. So one of the ways that we're able to address this is I have a video capture card. And what that does is it takes the HDMI signal from the computer, puts it into the capture card, and then sends that signal back to the computer. And what that allows us to do is get anything that comes through the HDMI signal, even if Windows isn't capturing it. So in this case, I was able to capture my recorder for Camtasia 2021 with this capture card. All right, let's go on to the next question. I love your videos. Thanks for sharing. Please, how can I make drawing like Quick Doodle YouTube channel using Camtasia? Please check his YouTube channel and reply to me. His drawing appears on a whiteboard. So to answer this question, the first thing I did was I found a video. So I want to show you, this is what this person is doing. There's just these images that pop up, and I can see that after a few seconds, the next line pops up. So he's showing people how to draw. And he's saying, then draw this line, then draw this line. So this person has screenshots of each of these images. So each of these images is about 5 seconds. Bring those into Camtasia, put them all in a row, and then select them. And then what we need to do is add a transition. So I'll go to transitions, and it's the random dissolve transition that does this. So I'm going to bring this in, I'm going to drag it in, and then when I play through from one to the next, I can see that transition just like he had. So that's a nice fun way to add different elements to our screen. Hopefully you've learned a few things in this video. If you have questions, leave questions in the comments below. I tend to answer those rather quickly within a day or two, and usually I will text a response to you, and if it's something that needs a video, then I'll be happy to do that like we did in this video here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.